folks, and welcome to another apple tasting. This is the second one of the 2018-2019 season. But before we get on with trying the apples, Nigel wants to tell us a bit about the season and how it's been affecting the apples. So
yeah, it's been quite a difficult season this year because of the long period we've had with hot weather and particularly in the afternoons very intense sunshine. For about 8 weeks we had no rain. And when you get a combination of heat and sun, it does affect ripening. Basically, you have one or two problems. The apples tend to ripen a lot faster. And another problem is that it's difficult to tell when the apples are actually ripe, because some of them start to fall from the trees, not because they're ripe, but because they've been baked in the sun for so long. There's another problem that we've got this year as well. The hot weather seems to have affected the sawfly population, and the apple display that we've got here, it was quite difficult to find unblemished apples of most of these varieties because the majority have holes in caused by the apple sawfly, which causes rapid rotting. So it's a real problem, and there isn't an effective organic cure or control for sawfly. Basically the remedy, the chemical remedy for sawfly is, well, you need to know a little bit about the life cycle of the sawfly. The sawfly flies into your apple tree just as the petals are dropping from the flowers, and it lays its eggs. And they take about up to a fortnight to hatch, but they hatch in sequence, in batches. So the only effective chemical control really is to spray when the petals are falling with a contact insecticide. Wait 2 days, spray again. Wait 2 days, spray again. And you need to spray for about a fortnight until all the sawfly eggs have hatched. Otherwise you'll find that since the spray is only effective against the insects, if the spray hits the eggs, it has no effect on them. So it's quite a difficult thing to control. Codling moth has similar symptoms, but not nearly as severe or as rapid, and codling moth tends to act on apples rather later. If you slice an apple through to see which of these pests you've got, codling moth grubs are pink, and the grubs from sawfly are white, and they tend to be rather earlier, and they sort of depart through a hole in your apple sometime in July usually. So that's a bit of background, and I've got a note here about my Laxton Fortune tree. Just as a matter of interest, I counted the number of apples on that tree about a fortnight ago. They were about that size, and there were approximately 400. I counted up yesterday, and 200 of them are about this size, golf ball or a bit bigger, and are on the ground going mouldy, and most of the remainder, which are still on the tree, have got symptoms of sawfly attack. So not a good year for apples, and I don't think they're going to store very well either because of the prolonged warmth, which will speed up the chemical reactions in the fruit. So this, as well as making them ripen slightly early, will shorten their storage life. Right, shall I make a start?
Yeah.
We're revisiting one apple, but the first apple we've got here is Devonshire Quarrenden. Yeah, now you'll see that's got a bit of black tape on. This is the only Devonshire Quarrenden I managed to find on the tree which was actually full size, but it had a grub hole in it, and the grub hole tends to attract wasps. So I put a bit of black tape over the top. So we'll try this one, I think, but I've got another one in reserve there in case this one isn't very good. I'll just find my knife I think my knife's in my pocket. Here we go. There you go, Julie.
Okay.
Oh, we'd better put the rubbish on there, I think. I've forgotten to get the container out.
Right.
So Devonshire Quarrenden, this is the parent of Worcester Maine.
It's got a nice skin. It's
has.
nice and it's not too soft, it's not too hard, the apple.
Yeah, nice and shiny.
Tasty.
Well, it is a tasty
I might
one,
do
yeah.
another piece of that.
Yeah,
today.
okay.
I didn't have a sweet today.
Right. Yeah, it's not quite all over red. Usually they're about 3/4 red and 1/4 yellow. Yeah, this is nice. Sweet, not much tannin, just the right amount of acid, not very much.
I shall give that a 4.
Yeah, I'm going to give that a 4.5. I think there is a hint of I don't know, strawberry in it.
No,
Do you eat strawberries?
not very often.
Oh. So 4 and 4.5. I think people are familiar with our scoring system now. We don't need to explain that again, do we?
I don't think so, do we? Each of us score out of 5, and then we add the 2 together to give a score out of 10. So the nearest to a 10 would be perfect, and then it goes downhill.
Yeah, a 3 means it's perfectly okay, nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't leave any strong impression. Right, next one is Laxton's Fortune. You can see here that this one, can I just have a look at the phone? If I hold up to the phone, out to the camera, you can probably see it's got a small hole in it.
Yeah.
That's a sawfly exit hole. This one appears to be unblemished, but there might be a larva inside or a grub. This usually scores very highly. When it's on form, it's sort of 5 from both of us. And this should not be ripe for another 6 weeks. The size it should be is like this.
Well, that is lovely, folks.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Oh.
At least a 4.
No, I'm going to give it a 5, that one. I like that.
Can we try the other one?
Yeah.
I think that's gone over a little bit because of the hot season. Let's see if this one can get a 5 from me as well. It's definitely a 4.5.
Now this one is more crispy. I have a job biting into it.
No, for me that's a 5, definite. Bit more crunchy.
No. I'll give that 4.
Okay, what shall we put then?
Because the thing what lets that down is it's a bit hard to do with the skin.
Okay, well it's not a 10 then, is it?
No.
So you said 4.5 to start with.
No, I said 5.
Sorry, 5, and I said a bit less. That's a 5 there. Yeah, I reckon that's a 4.5, so it's a 9.5, so it's pretty good. Next one looks quite similar. You can see it's got a similar shape but slightly flatter, similar pattern on the skin, and this is a Leicestershire apple, Langton's Nonsuch. This was the one that we discovered in Germany. This was a lost variety from England, not known in England since the 20s, but it retained some popularity in Germany. They used it for juicing, and we found, even though it's quite uncommon there now, we found an old tree in Hamburg. Crikey, what do you think of that?
I don't like it.
Very different. It's got a sort of a taste that sort of sneaks up on you.
Give that 2.5.
Do you want another one?
No.
Well, I like that. I'm going to give that a 4. It's sort of sweet, but then all of a sudden you realise it's sour at the same time. But it's not unduly acidic. Most unusual. So 2.5, 4. It's quite difficult to grow. It's a tip bearer.
That's 6.5.
Is it? Oh, sorry, 6.5. Yeah, I missed the half. It's a tip bearer, so it's quite difficult to train. And
A what?
it's a tree where most of
What
the
do you say?
a tip bearer.
Oh, I thought you said a tit. Sorry.
We're talking about.
I'm sure you said that.
Well, anyway, I did not. I deny it. What it means is that most of the fruit forms on the end of the shoots, and this means that it's difficult to prune it and to form the tree into the shape that you want. You couldn't do an espalier, for example. You couldn't train it on wires very well because you'd only get fruit right at the very ends and not on the branch itself. This one is a variety known to the Victorians. It's called Sops in Wine. I'm not sure if it's ripe or not. It shouldn't be ripe yet, and it has a hole in it, but it had fallen off and it was full size, so I thought we'd better try it. It's got a sort of pink colour inside, and it's highly scented. I can smell it now as I cut it. Very highly scented. Any good?
The taste is very nice.
Mm.
It's just the skin.
Isn't the skin tough?
Mm.
Very tough. But the flesh has got a very, very nice
It's
flavour.
got a very unusual taste.
Yeah. A hint of red currant or possibly black currant. That sort of overtone to the taste. I don't like the skin at all in that. It's quite a little bit bitter. The flesh taste is very good though. I'm going to give that a 4.
You're the same with me.
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
Yeah, I think if you just peeled it, you'd be fine.
Yeah. Next one is Rosette. We tried this the other day, but the fruit that we had wasn't quite ripe. So I'm hoping this is better. And I'll show you why it's called Rosette. I'll cut this the other way. And you can see it's got a sort of rosette pattern. This is closely related to the variety Discovery. Come on.
Yeah.
It must be quite good if you've had 2 slices.
Mm.
Well, it's pretty good.
I should give that 4.5.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a 4. It's not the best year for that one, but it's very nice apple nevertheless. Pen's running out. I should have planned ahead better than this. Right, next one. This is an apple called George's Red, which came from Essex, a village called Roundbush, a tree found on an old parish boundary. And the name comes from the chappie that sent it to me. George, well, I won't give his other name for confidentiality, but that was his first name. And these are from 2 different trees. One tree is just forming small apples that are dropping off this year, and the other tree is forming a few larger apples. So we can try both. Wow, look at the colour. I've never seen that before on this variety.
Mm.
Slightly tough skin.
I don't like that one.
Yeah, it's a bit like Devonshire Quarrenden, but it's more sour. This is the other apple. Let's see if this is any better. This one is much paler in colour, as you can see. I find that one better. It's sweeter. But for me, I think it's still only a 3.
Give it a 1.
1, right, okay. Right, next one is from Sweden. This is an apple sent to us by a Mr. Doubleman in Stockholm, and it has a sort of floral taste. It's another red-fleshed apple, but its colour varies from year to year. It tends to be, in hot years, very pale like this. You can see it's a sort of off-white with a sort of pinkish hint. But in a colder year, when the nights are colder, it goes crimson, just like this one. Oh, but we've got a grub. Can't have that. Yeah. So your new dental equipment could sort that out.
I don't really fancy eating a grub. Might have to leave that one.
And I've got another one. Let's try this one. Oh, that's a bit brighter in colour. That this tree must have been in a slightly shadier or cooler place. Bit more. There's quite a nice flavour, this one. It's quite sweet. Not very much acid. Sort of fruity, a sort of red berry type taste.
Skin's a bit crunchy,
Yeah, but it's not too tough, is it?
I don't know about taste. I mean, it starts off about a bit and it goes. I'm going to give it a 3.
Yeah. What happens is when you eat it, the first thing that you taste is the sugar, because that dissolves on your tongue.
Right.
And then as you continue to chew, some of the tannins start to come out of the skin. And so the more you chew it, the more bitter it gets.
Yeah.
It's not really bitter, but there's a sort of hint of astringency there. Well, I like that. I'm going to give that a 4.
3.
3, okay. Next one is from America. This is, well, it's our tree, but the variety is from America. This is Almata, very similar to Scarlet Surprise, which we tasted a few days ago. But it ripens, this year it's ripening about 10 days later. You can see it's got a very nice colour, and the colour is consistent from year to year. Quite soft.
No, I don't like it.
It's like the other one, only the last one, only a bit more extreme. It's sweet, but not quite as sweet, and then it suddenly goes bitter as you chew it.
No, give that 1.
I like that one. I'm going to give that a 3.5. People vary a lot in their perception of tannins. There are some bitter tastes that I can taste and Julie can't, and there are some other tannins that work the other way round. Another newcomer, we've only seen this once before. This is apple number 9. This is Alatau, red-fleshed apple, which I think has been collected from the forests of Kazakhstan. It's very dark, as you can see, but I wasn't sure if they were ready or not. They came off the tree easily, but I've left some on.
No, I don't like that either.
It's similar to the last one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very similar to Almata, but it's a little bit harsher.
I'll give that 1.
Yeah. I'm going to give that a 3. But I'm not sure it's ripe. We may have to revisit that one. It may get better. Right, this one is Hall's Pink. We've tried this about a week ago and we sort of liked it quite a bit, but it was a blemished apple with a grub in, so I found a good one on a different tree. So let's see what this is like. I mean, it's starting to colour up a little bit. This is an apple which, when it's at its best, goes pink inside. It's quite soft, but it doesn't mean it's overripe. It's meant to be. And you can see it's got a very odd property. You can peel it without a knife. I don't think it's quite ripe enough to get the skin entirely off, but you can see the skin comes off very easily. Well, that tastes like apple meringue. I've got to give that at least 4.5.
I'll give it a 2.
2? Yeah. This one, by the way, Hall's Pink, quite good for people who can't eat apples because they're too acidic. This has very little acid in it. This next apple is a seedling which came up near our Laxton's Fortune tree in the garden. I think it's an Laxton's Fortune seedling, and it's crossed with something, probably, I think it's a red-fleshed apple it's crossed with. And it's the first time this tree has fruited. You can see it's pink inside. Try a bit, Jude. There you go. So it might be similar in flavour to that one. It's a more concentrated flavour than that, but there's some similarity. There's a slight hint of aniseed, and I can taste a bit more acid than that, Laxton's Fortune, and a little more tannin. But it's very sweet and concentrated.
I'll give that a 4.
Yeah, I agree. It's nice. A bit small though for a commercial apple. It's only a little bit bigger than a golf ball, and all of the apples on the tree are the same size. Our last one is from Ukraine. A few years ago I got a batch of apple cuttings from Ukraine, and this one is a variety called, well, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, Aport, A-P-O-R-T. can see it's lovely colour, very shiny. We've never had any fruit from this tree before, so I've no idea what it's like. You can probably hear it crunching as I cut through it. Very sweet. No, no more. Quite juicy.
I should just give that a 3.
It's a nice eating apple, about the same standard as Rosette, I think, or Rosette this year. I think it's worth a 4. Okay, well that's our 12 apples. Now let's just have a look at the... I'll put this up for you so you can see it in a moment. Top of the list, Laxton's Fortune, 9.5. Devonshire Quarrendon and Rosette, 8.5. That's that one and that one. And the Laxton's Fortune Seedling, 8. The others are relatively low, particularly the red-fleshed ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's pop that up.
Yeah, you can see from the bits what I've left from the red ones, 3 of those were red.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But it is not an average year though, as I say, because of the unusual weather.
Yeah.
There we go.
Too much sun, not enough rain.
Yeah, yeah, and not enough cool evenings either.
Yeah.
Cool evenings make the flavours sort of develop.
Yeah. I suppose that's why we differ from these hotter countries where they've got the heat at night as well.
That's right.
We've had a taste of that this summer, haven't we? Where
yes, we have.
Not dropped below 20 some nights.
But if you think about it, you never get particularly good flavoured apples from hot countries. You get apples sometimes, but the flavours are not of the best. Right, I think that's about it for today.
Yeah, okay then folks, well thanks for watching us, and yeah, it's been interesting getting a few lower results for a change.
Yeah.
It just shows you last year there was hardly a bad one, wasn't there?
That's true.
This year we're getting a few bad.
Yeah, that's true. We'll be having a new apple video in a few days, all being well.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye.